Welcome to the Recreation Committee. This is June 7th, 2016, and we're going to pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great. I'm Kathy Carmignani.
Tracy, I.
Ken Butkevich.
Thank you. And we're going to call the meeting to order. We're going to pass through the acceptance of the minutes as our other member is not here at this time, and we're going to go into old business. So any updates for old business?
I have not followed up with Dan Guyon or John at the water department about the walking or running trail around the well field at the town beach area. I will pursue that and report back to the board at the next meeting, for the next meeting, in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I spoke briefly with the aquatics director over at the YMCA in Southbridge, and she was trying to coordinate a couple different programs. So we were on her list, but we have not been coordinated yet. So the idea of summer swim lessons, I'm not sure. I don't know where it stands. I'll try to contact her again and see what's going on. If we can do it, we will try to do it, and it will be run from the YMCA. Because I don't think that we have the staffing that we can really handle doing this ourselves, since we don't have a separate recreation department within the town of Dudley. So I will follow up with that as soon as I know more. Do you have anything?
Not in the way of swimming lessons, I know.
Okay. Do you have any
What?
old business that you want to talk about?
Well, one of the things that people kept on asking me is, are we going to do a run?
And we're going to talk about that under new business.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so why don't we move to new business and talk about the beach run?
Okay. So the last 2 years, the beach run has been, I believe, the first year it was the end of May, and then last year it was the beginning of June. We had close to 200 runners at both of those events, and the Facebook page is still live from that, and I get continual new views on that, so I do think that there's still interest in it, and people do word of mouth ask me all the time, when's the beach run? This year I got involved with another run in town to raise funds for Janet Brooks, who is a citizen of Dudley who has recently been diagnosed with cancer, and she has children that attend school at the school that I teach at. And she's a very active member of the community for the children in the town. So we are holding a run for her on June 25th. I'm helping organize that with a couple of other ladies from the school district and from town. And it's going to be held at the Crawford Little League Field on School Street on June 25th. And it will take the runners on a 5K course through the beach. The beach is part of it. And Janet lives on Lakeview Ave, so we're going to run right past Janet's house down Lakeview Ave and then end back up at Crawford Field again. I didn't want to compete with having, in the past I have tried to co-coordinate races that were close in time to each other in town, and and both races end up getting hurt from it because it takes away from the pool of runners that would register for this race this weekend. A lot of people gear up for this and they don't want to do 2 races in a row. So because this one was more time sensitive, we really wanted to do something in honor of her since she is starting her treatment and everything. We moved this to June 25th, and I said to anybody who asked that I would still be willing to coordinate a race of the beach race to do, so that
Right.
our nice annual little tradition doesn't end after only 2 years, sometime later in the summer. And so now that it's already June, August is a reasonable thought.
I think so.
Maybe, before school starts. So basically, we just need to put a date on the calendar, and then start planning for it. And since I have been through it a couple of times, the process for it is pretty much hammered out. Michelle can help quite a bit from the Selectman's office. She does mailings for us. One thing to discuss before moving forward with it is the date, and then my thought on it for this year. In the past, we held the race specifically because there were no funds to get lifeguards at all from the town. And so if we were going to have any lifeguards at all, myself and Joyce, as citizens said, we're going to raise the money so we can get lifeguards there a little bit, and just start to try to staff the beach again so that it wasn't just a, an empty anything goes zone. The lifeguards were paid for by the town this year. Going forward, I'm not sure if they're going to be something we need to find out. A big part of the effort in planning a race goes into the sponsor, the getting of the sponsors.
Right.
And I have been part of races as a runner, where you go and it's more of just a community event than it is a fundraiser.
Right.
And the race entry fee is much lower, and the t-shirt you get isn't as fancy, it's a little lighter. There's not all sponsored, it's just printed on one side. That's the sponsorship really pays for the t-shirt order. The t-shirt order ends up being about $1,000. And that's because they need to make a new screen for the back for your sponsors.
Right.
And it's double-sided print. The price per t-shirt goes up a couple of dollars when you put this printing on the back as well.
Okay.
So what I'm suggesting, and it's up for discussion, I'm willing to put in the time getting all the sponsors, but we could do it just as a community event and not a fundraiser. And just, it could be $10 entry fee, and it could be a true fun run, and that $10 covers the price of the t-shirt, and anything else that we raise will go into the beach fund. But, rather than raising $5,000 to $7,000, we might raise $1,000,
Right.
So that's just something to think about. It's a lot less work if we don't put in the sponsorship piece, and we just have people register, and if the shirts end up being $5 per shirt, then we get $5 to the beach, $5 to the shirt, and we still get the donations for the water and the snacks after the race. But I know places to go to get that, and we can draft a letter like that for goods, goods donations. So whatever you think, so it's open to discussion. Do you think that we should send out the mass mailing to every business in town and say, here are our sponsorship levels? In the past, we had sponsorship levels, $100, $200, $500. And we did get a couple of $500 sponsors, in the past. We've hit all those same businesses for the race that I'm doing right now in June,
Right.
So that's just what I'm thinking of, that it might be nice just to have a community event and not try to raise a bunch of money from it. Or we can try to raise a bunch of money and see what happens.
Yeah, because if we make it a community event, then we could have, you start at the beach, then you could have like a puppet show going on for the kids, or do something fun
Have
for
it
the
be a
kids.
fun day, kicking
Right.
off the fun day at the beach with this 5K
Right.
run.
Right.
And of course, it'd be open to the general public, not just to people in town.
Correct. run welcomes anybody from anybody that wants to drive in.
Yeah, we'll walk and run.
Yep, you can do either. They all go out together and
Right.
they finish wherever they finish. Yeah.
That sounds good.
I think we probably need to just ask Greg about the budget for next year's lifeguards
Okay.
and see if we need it or not.
Okay.
If we don't need it, then I agree with you. I think it's more beneficial as for us to do it as more of like a fundraiser, like putting the fund back in there.
I believe the town is still sponsoring the lifeguards for a part-time basis. And you can check with Greg, or I can check with him. But that was at the town meeting where the recreation was zero sponsored. When I questioned it from the floor, I was told there was no money available for the lifeguards and the beach would be open. Whether it's open 7 days a week, I don't believe so.
Or staffed 7 days a week. Right.
So the immediate need for the money, the town will be providing a lifeguard. I think what you can do is, with the run, is it could go into next year's planning, where you could look at expand the program for a 7-day week and try for swimming lessons. But that's,
Right.
that's
I think we could also use the money for other events
right.
that we, as the recreation committee, run as well. Depending on what we need.
The Christmas, I don't know whether we would have to do the Christmas party this year. And, so
Okay.
that would give us a start for a general fund for the committee. Since again, it was not a line item spent on the town budget.
Okay. When, for planning purposes, when would we need to know what type of event we're doing to give us enough lead time?
We need to know pretty quickly because we're going to need a couple of months. If we're going to do the sponsorship letters, then it's a mass mailing that we send out to everybody, and then we put a deadline on it, and then we immediately advertise registration and through a number of different avenues. And then we have to put a deadline on the registration so that we have a roundabout number so that we can order the t-shirts.
Do we have enough time as it is to do all
We
that?
do. I mean, this one that we planned for Mrs. Brooks, we did in 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay. So we would have
But that was, we said ready, set, go, and then had met at least once a week, every week, leading up to these 6 weeks, and just massive media, social media to get the word out there. And the one thing that we won't have the benefit of doing in August is advertising through the kids' backpacks in town, sending home registration forms and flyers and everything. That really spreads the words to the families.
And you think September is a little too late because then you're into all sports seasons?
September for me is nearly impossible.
Right.
What about Labor Day weekend?
I can't do September at all. I have my whole family's involved in football at a very enormous level, and I just cannot do
Well,
anything.
we could do it later in August.
Right.
Right. I mean,
give us a
August
little more
20th
time.
or August 27th are the last 2 Saturdays in August.
I know that as far as for me personally, the 20th would be better.
Me too. Because we're going to start school.
Yeah, and I have to start. Both of us have to start school.
Right.
So do you want to set the date as August 20th, and then we can find out information from Greg right away? Okay.
And we will have to ask that will be a tentative date until we are able to get permission from the selectmen officially to even hold the event.
Okay.
What about police? Do we have to have them? So we have to get
So typically
Chief Walsh,
at the selectmen's meeting that we ask permission at, Chief Wayner is typically there, and EMT is there, and they also say if they they do like that route that we do from the beach because it's very close to traffic. The police don't really need to close any.
Okay.
We stay completely off of any road that is a throughway, you know.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's just through the neighborhood, up and down the streets, the lake area there, and
Right.
there's one little corner where they go onto Mason Road, and Chief Weiner usually stands right there himself, and
Okay.
you know, just to make sure. But we never cross over. We never cross a road or anything like that. So
Great. So we'll have to talk.
Okay, since this is my last meeting as an official member, I will help out with the race. So it'd be, why don't we meet once a week until everything is laid out? I'm willing to do that. I know you're limited with the babysitting.
now, question: in planning the race, can we meet outside? Do we have to be here on camera?
You can make a subcommittee.
Okay, so let's make a race subcommittee then. And then it can be an unofficial meeting at somebody's house.
Yeah, because you won't have a quorum. So
Okay.
your subcommittee could only be 2 people.
And it can be done via email as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you can talk that way,
just
That seems
let's
much
do
better.
that. Okay.
Okay, so
I won't be officially on this board.
So
But you're
that
gonna be
it would
official.
matter if
Right.
it's
Oh,
official.
we will be calling you to help us
On the
when we meet.
Okay, so
So-
can I make a motion, or I
She
can't
needs to
make?
make a motion to form a subcommittee
Yes.
of,
I would like to make a motion to form a subcommittee to plan the beach race of 2 people so that we can plan and take action toward that end outside of this arena.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Yeah.
why do you nominate both of them for the subcommittee?
I would like to nominate both of you, Ken and Casey, for the subcommittee. And I will help as well. All in favor?
Fine.
We're good. All right. As far, the only other new business I would have is that, do we want to, can I start looking at the ability to have a splash pad?
Have
A splash pad?
oh, yeah.
Because that's something that if we want to have for next year, we would have to start, we'd have to figure out what our budget would be, we'd have to plan big fundraisers.
Well, we could make the beach race the first fundraiser for it then, if you wanted to go that route.
We could, we just need to know what kind of financing we're doing, like funding we're doing. Because it could be up to like 50,000. So we need to see where we can get the money and how much it would cost. But would anyone like to make a motion for an exploratory subcommittee for a splash pad?
I will make a motion for an exploratory subcommittee for a splash pad.
That would be great.
I'll second that.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I nominate you, Kathy, to
Thank
explore
you.
the financial, what's going to go into it, how. And I know I did see you had sent out some initial emails regarding.
Right.
You talked to a couple different parks
Yep.
and found out what it cost them.
The easiest one to talk to, just put one in, is Oxford.
Right. Yep.
They
And we
just-
have a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, they just put one in this year, so
And
the
I'm
cost
sure-
would be,
Okay. That's good.
and then we just have to identify where we want to put it.
Right. Right.
Well, we put it on the,
We'd put it.
yeah, right
It would
next
be
to the
where the-
playground here.
Next to the playground.
Is it going to be big enough? Because you
Yeah,
have,
that's big enough. We don't need to make it that big.
well, no, you still have to have the tank to store the water as it's
Right.
used to be recycled. And,
Right. We
And
can.
it's
Well,
the-
that's what we need to look
you
at.
know, right,
Yeah,
that's
so
what I
that's
meant
what-
by,
Right. So we will do all that kind of stuff. Great. Is there anything else?
One question, I don't know if this would have gone under old business because I did mention it earlier, but I had mentioned once doing some kind of sunrise yoga on the beach. And there's a yoga teacher here in town who has asked about it a couple of times, and I said, you know, so I'm not sure what the next step is. Will she give me times that she would be able to do it, and then we just say okay, or, you know, I'm not sure what the next step is there. I mean, I think it's a good idea, and if she can get a group of people together that want to do it at 7 o'clock on Wednesday mornings in the summer or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't think there's nothing that we have to do to prepare for that. People would just show up and do it at the beach, you know.
The mats would pay.
They have their mats.
They would bring their mats, right.
And we would help advertise.
Yes, and we would help advertise for it. It would just be another sort of...
Why don't we talk to Greg about the logistics of that and make sure that he's okay with that, and
It's public property. It's public property, but it's still, I think the selectmen have to give permission
to use it, right?
To use it, but it's still public, so if you can hold classes, it's like somebody having a pitching lesson up at Crawford Field.
Sure.
Nobody really cares.
Right.
But yeah, I think you're right. Just run
Right.
a bike ride, but I don't think it's going to be a problem.
okay. So what?
And that would be another thing too. I mean, if I don't know, you know, if everybody, if you paid $5 to go to the class, does that all go to the instructor, or does the instructor get 2 and 2 goes towards the splash pad, or you know, the beach fund, or
Okay, we'll have to
I
find
don't
out.
know. I mean, the instructor would need to have it be worth her while to do it. You know what I mean? So if 3 people are showing up and she's getting $6, that doesn't make much sense. So we'll have to just.
Okay. Well, why don't we first discuss, I'll email Greg, and I'll email all of us as well about that, and then we'll take it from there and see what he says.
Sure.
Okay. And then as far as fall programs, the library had wanted to know if we wanted to do some kind of program with them on Halloween. My first instinct was no, only because I feel like people go out on Halloween pretty early, and by the time you get home from school at 3:30, you're trying to put something healthy in your kids and then take them out at 5.
We still have a parade.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I think that as a
Support the
recreation,
Lions Club.
yes, as a recreation committee, we should do something for Halloween, but maybe we can put our efforts in supporting the Lions Club. I mean, we can certainly work with the library, see what ideas they have, but I think that the Lions Club, they do that parade, and that might be kind of fun. I think they need more attendance, and if we can support them, that might help the attendance a little bit as well. So we will work on that. And then the library talked about other, Kathy Dutton, the librarian over there, talked about other programs that we might be able to do this summer. So I'll just talk to her about co-sponsorship of programs. They were pretty easy to do, so I think the more the merrier. Good? Great, and then we have to start planning Christmas.
One of the things that I'm concerned, we don't have a budget.
I thought we did have a budget. That didn't get passed?
No, we zero funded.
For the Christmas thing?
No.
The recreation committee had 0.
It had 0? Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well,
The only thing is, I would look at the November
the November meeting to ask.
is to put in a budget request for 2017.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. I would do a tick list, what you plan on doing
Right.
as a support to the funding request.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay. Does anyone have anything else?
Almost up.
Any motions to adjourn?
One thing,
Yes.
make sure you sign up with the town clerk.
Right. second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, adjournment at 7:02.